Hello, everybody. Today, I want to show you how you can create your VM virtual machine in NeCTAR Cloud. And you can use it for your experiments in second project assignment in your Internet Technologies subject. So the first thing you should do, you should go to the dashboard of NeCTAR. You search NeCTAR dashboard, and then here there is a link here. After you click on NeCTAR dashboard, sorry, let me log out here. So you will get this page after you try to open the dashboard. If it is your first time, there are some steps you have to pass. Make sure you are using your university account, and then you log in here in Australia, not New Zealand, Australia. Then you go to University of Melbourne. There is an extra page that it was missing right now, but for you it comes and it asks you about the university. So you should select University of Melbourne. After that, you get to the dashboard of NeCTAR. So the first step you should do for your virtual machine to be created is creating a key pair. This key pair is a public-private key that allows you to log into your VM. So what you should do, you should go to Compute, yeah, then Key Pairs, and then you create key pair, okay? So you can choose whatever name. For example, I say iPerf3, for example, it's my key. Then you click SSH key. This is any name you can choose, okay? So, and then you create your key pair. After you create your key pair, you get a PEM file. This PEM file is used for as part of your login to your SSH. Keep it in a safe place. I will talk about this file later on. This is the first step. The other step you should follow is a security group. Security group is a kind of a firewall for your VM, and you should define what ports and what services you want to allow over your your VM. So you go to network part, then you go to security group, network, then security groups. Here there are some pre-existing security groups. Default is there. If you have a look, you see that there are some firewall rules here, but you create your own security group. Let's call it iPerf3 again. This is your security group. It is important, you see from inside, this egress means that from inside the machine to the outside world, IP version 4 and IP version 6 is allowed, and this means anywhere. But from outside to your machine is blocked. So what you should do, you should add a few rules that allows the connection from outside world to your VM. So add a rule here. So if you want TCP, UDP, all other ones, you can select. So the one that you definitely need is SSH. Make sure you are adding SSH. This CIDR tells the firewall that from which places or which IP addresses you would like to give access to your VM. 000/0 means from everywhere. But if you want to limit, you can do it based on your CIDR. And this is the first rule you are adding. So now SSH to your machine from outside, ingress is open. So you are adding TCP because you want to use, for example, your iPerf from outside to connect to your machine, your server. Probably you want to open some TCP rules. Here you say that, for example, port 5000, I want to keep it open. And from everywhere, TCP, ingress, port, and this port, and CIDR is this. By adding this rule, you say that, okay, a client that tries to connect to port 5000 inside this machine, they can, okay? Make sure that the one that you are opening here in your security group is the one that it is allowed. Any other port is not allowed. So you should make sure each time you want to add an extra port or different port, you are coming back to this security group and you are adding your ports here. Okay, go back from here. By the way, I forgot to mention that as a student of Melbourne University, you have access to these PT projects. Okay, PT is a free tier type of projects that allows you to create virtual machines up to 2 cores and with some limits. So some of you may have used NeCTAR Cloud and your PT projects before, and now probably you don't have quota and you cannot create any VM in these projects. If you are experiencing this issue because of out of quota or your project is already used, you can contact your head tutor and we can give you access to other VMs in other projects. But for those of you who have never used PT projects, you should be able to go to this part, compute, and then in instances, you can create your virtual machines. Okay, here, after you come to compute instances, here, launch instance. This will create your first VM. So let's put a name for my instance. This is whatever name you want. You don't need to select any availability zone. Just leave it as it is. How many VMs you want? Just one. Then you go to the next page, which is the type of operating system you want to use. Don't touch this one. But here, we want to run Ubuntu operating system. Ubuntu. After you click on Ubuntu, Ubuntu. Here you have a long list of Ubuntu images. Images are those files that you are creating your virtual machine based on a specific operating system. Go down and find this one, NeCTAR Ubuntu 24 Noble. Okay, make sure you are selecting this one. Select this one. Now you have an Ubuntu image. You go next page. Here you select the size of VM. For the purpose of the projects you are running, T3 small is sufficient. It has 2 CPU core, 2 gigabytes of memory, and 10 gigabytes of disk. There are some other flavors you can select, but this one is sufficient for you, okay? Just select this one. Then you go next. Here it's asking you about some networking stuff that you don't need to touch. Use classic provider. Here you have to select your security group. You remember that we created one security group in the networking part. Now you can select that one. The name was iPerf, okay? You can select this one. If you need any extra, ports or things like that, you can later on go to your security group and edit it. You can keep the default here as well. Don't touch it. That's okay. You have 2 security groups, defaults, and the one that you created. Then you go to key pair. This is the part that you can create your key pair. We create it separately and we save the file. You don't need to touch anything here. You are just selecting your key pair, okay? This is your key pair that you have, which is already allocated, okay? If you don't, you have multiple key pair, you have to select it. Anyway, I have only this one, this one, you have to select it. And then you go next. In the following pages, you don't need to do any configurations or server groups and metadata, and then you finally launch your instance. After you launch your instance, here in this dashboard part, you can see your instance is going to be created. At the beginning is a status is built and it's trying to do. You have to wait for a few seconds up till the moment that the status becomes available, okay? Let's wait for a few seconds that your VM is ready. So So if you remember your key is here, it's saved in your download files or anywhere you asked, and you need this key to connect to this VM. So when the VM is ready, I'm going to overview here as well. You can see how many VMs you are allowed to use and things like that. For those of you have reached your limit, you can see some error messages here that it says that you are running out of quota. Okay, anyway, I'm going back to instances now again. And it is still scheduling, status is built, still not created. We have to wait for a few minutes. After your VM is created, here you have an IP address, okay? And that IP address is the address you can use to connect to your VM. Meanwhile, this VM is creating. I don't know why is it so slow, but I can show you a few things. So in Mac OS operating system, you can easily do SSH to your machine with your key. In Windows, you can use PowerShell. In Ubuntu or other computers, you can also use SSH directly, okay? So based on your operating system, you have to open different terminal, and then you have to use this key. My key is saved in download. Let me see, where is it? It's in my downloads folder. Okay, here in my computer. Usually you have a SSH folder in your home directory. If you go, this means home in Mac OS. Then here there is a folder called .ssh. This dot means that this SSH folder is hidden. It's better to keep all your keys here. Have a look. I have all my keys and files here saved in this folder. This is a good practice to keep all your keys here. Okay, let me copy my my key from my download folder, home, downloads. The name of the key was iPerf3 to here. This means here, or you can also do .ssh. Okay, if you have a look now, you see my iPerf3 PEM file is here now. It's moved. I moved it from my download folder to this SSH folder. And now I can use it for connecting to this. Okay, now my machine is ready. It has IP addresses. This is the public IP address. So you need this IP address to connect to your machine. What you can do here, you can do SSH -I. This means that I want to use a PEM key. What was your PEM key? It was iPerf3. By the way, before this, let me tell you, you have to do another thing. So if you look at my my keys here, you see that they are all in readable only formatting. It is important that you make your key readable. I think this step is not necessary for PowerShell, but still it's good to try it. So what you do, sudo chmod. This means that you want to change the permissions of the file. So you put 400. It means that read only for the only user. And then you say iPerf. Okay, this changes the this access to this file to read only. Do it. Okay, now if I'm doing LSLA, you see that my file is only read only. There is no other access. This is important, otherwise NeCTAR will complain. Okay, after you did this, you do some simple command, SSH-I, your key, and then your username is Ubuntu at this IP address, okay? This command will allow you to make a SSH access to your VM. It asks you, are you okay with the fingerprint and things like that? Yes. And now you see here, I am on the shell of my virtual machine. Previously, it was my Mac computer, and now I'm switched to my Ubuntu machine. Okay, when you are here, you do something simple. Sudo apt get install iPerf3. This will install the iPerf packages on your machine. Say yes. It will ask you if you want to like it to run it as a daemon or things like that. You can say yes, for example. Each time your machine boots up, it become the iPerf become available. Just say yes. This is installing your iPerf on the server. For your assignments, be careful that this availability zone, because of the location, for example, if it is in Queensland, if it is in Melbourne, if it is in New Zealand or other places, it will change your delay. And then if you are running your experiments, probably you are getting different delays. So make sure if you are switching off your VM and you are booting it up again, which availability zone you are going to. Okay, now my iPerf is installed. I can run an iPerf server here on my machine. I can say iPerf3-server and which port? The port that we kept it open in the security. If you open any other ports, you can put it here. But if you are not using the ports that you are opening in your firewall, probably you cannot get access to this iPerf server. Okay, when I'm doing this, my iPerf is ready. Now I can open another terminal. So this is another terminal. From here, which is my machine, I want to make a connection using your iPerf to the iPerf server running on that machine in the NeCTAR. So what I do, I say iPerf. I assume that you already installed iPerf client on your machine from the assignment 1 that you did in this subject. If you haven't done, make sure you are running, you are installing iPerf client on your laptop or your desktop or whatever computer you are using. So I assume that you already installed it. I already have installed it in my computer as well. So iPerf3 dash client. What is the IP address of the server you put here? This one, exactly the same as your server machine. This is the IP address. Which port? Dash P 5000. So now you see that my client connected to the server, it sends some packets and I can do some tests. And after that, it's over. I can collect data for my experiments as part of the assignments. Hopefully this instructions is useful to you to be able to run your VM on NeCTAR Cloud and have the iPerf ready for your experiments. If you have any questions, please post it in Ed forums. For those of you who have run out of quota, please let us know. We help you. And finally, there is a document with some extra links from NeCTAR that explains the same thing that I showed in this video, step by step in a manual. Thank you so much. All the best with your second project assignment. Thank you. Bye.